action and result. There is a lot of human activity which we see, and all this human activity which takes place in a society has to be monitored, it has to be regulated, and the leaders of the society have to see that people do act in accordance with some system in a rather disciplined manner. So that is the duty of people who are in charge of the society. There are two types of people who are in charge of the society. One is the people who really administer, that is the government, or in olden days there used to be a king. That was the administrative system. And the other type is the man of religion, the person who says about what is right and what is wrong, the person who says, or rather who talks about certain activities which do not come under the purview of the king. So there is another wing. So we are now talking about not the king, not the law, we are talking about the man of religion, the system which he has, the idea of say karma and its result. Karma means action, the idea of action and its result. That is, every action is bound to give a result, whether a good result or bad result. A good action will give you good result and a bad action will give you bad result. So it is almost like a sort of Newtonian law. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. It is something like a Newtonian law that every karma has to give some result and the person has to experience it, either enjoy it or suffer it. The person has to experience the fruit of that karma. So this is what we saw in the last class. And it also said the karma theory, which is accepted in India and in most of these Oriental religions, the karma theory says that so long as you are doing this karma, you will continue to get result. And then so long as that result is there, you have to continue to take rebirth and rebirth thereafter, because all the fruit of all actions cannot be experienced in one life. Moreover, you are working for, say, suppose you perform some ritual for the sake of heaven. Naturally, you have to go to heaven, and then after the tenure is over, the person has to come back. So, because again that tenure depends on the amount of punyam you have done, the amount of good deeds you have done. So, we are considering all this cycle of birth and death is inevitable. But what is the ultimate goal? The idea of the ultimate goal is what is called liberation. Going to heaven is not liberation, because going to heaven is something like getting bound in a golden chain. You are going to heaven, after the tenure is over, the person comes back, again he has to do some action, again he has to enjoy or suffer the result of it. So that is a chain. So the ideal which is told is that a person has to get out of this chain of cycle of birth and death. If that has to be done, one should not perform action in the manner in which all other people are doing. That is, all other people, they do perform rituals and then get the result. But then this man has to perform actions with a totally different mindset, different frame of mind. Not only that, he should also study the Upanishads. He should also know, he should also contemplate on the nature of his own self. That is what is called self-knowledge. We have seen in the earlier classes about what is Brahman, what is reality, what is the meaning of Jiva, what is the status of a Jiva and what is the status of that supreme reality. We have seen all that. What is the nature of supreme Brahman? We saw in the earlier classes. So that sort of awareness, that sort of contemplation, realization that he is not different from that supreme reality, not different, the consciousness which is associated with any living thing is the same as that supreme consciousness. So this awareness has to be there constantly in all his activities. When this awareness is there, his lifestyle changes. He comes to love everybody. He does not hate anybody. He doesn't harm any animal or any being also. So from him there is absolutely no fear to anybody. So that is the state of a Swamiji, that is the state of a realized monk. In fact, when they take sannyasa, there is a oath saying that Abhayam sarvabhutebhyo mattaha. So Abhayam sarvabhutebhyo mattaswaha, there is a mantra there. That is, from me there is Abhayam, that is total fearlessness to all beings. Not only human beings but to all animals, ants, everything. So that sort of realization is the ultimate goal. That is of course not possible for everyone. But then, as far as possible, we are supposed to purify our minds, we are supposed to purify our conducts, we have to perform these actions in such a way that this fruit of the karma does not come to us. So that is where we are. In the last class, we stopped at that point, and then now, of course, one doubt may come. Okay, when karma is so complicated, karma is invariably giving some result, why can't I totally avoid karma? That is a very logical question. I will not do anything, I will simply keep quiet. So that is the argument of Mimamsakas also, which we saw in some other classes. So the argument can be, I will not do any action, I will not get any result. So I will naturally, very naturally, I will say get realization. So that sort of question may be there. But it is not accepted. Why? Because every human being, there are certain, say, prescribed karmas in a society. As a member of the society, you are supposed to do certain compulsory karmas. There are certain other desire-driven karmas you may or may not do. That is a different thing. But if these nitya karmas or compulsory karmas, that is giving food to your guests, treating all the people properly, studying your your portion of the Veda, all these things are supposed to are said to be compulsory. If you do not do that, you will get a negative merit. That is papam, as we call it, sin. If we do not do that, it will get some sin. So a person accrues some sin. So that means not doing any action is also an action. That is the act of omission, as we call it. The sin of commission and omission, as they call it. It is not the sin of commission, it is the sin of omission. You are not doing something which you are supposed to do. So that is the sin of omission. So dereliction of duty or negligence of duty. So that it comes under that. So one cannot take a plea, I will not do any work. So then what is the option? One has to do action in such a way that he will not get the result. So what is that? So that is what Gita is going to say in the second chapter and third chapter by using the word karma yoga. So at this point there is one very famous line which is generally known to several people, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. This is the advice of Krishna to Arjuna. What he says is, you have, say, responsibility or authority or right to choose a karma. That's all. You have no right for the result. So unfortunately this statement is misunderstood by many people, several people. They feel, Arey, how is it? I am supposed to do work and then I am not getting the result of it. If I am doing my work, I have to get the result. I go to office and work from morning till evening. And what do you mean to say that I should not get my pay slip? So that is the question many people say. But what Krishna means is not that. Krishna is not referring to our day-to-day activities like going to office and working and then getting a pay slip. He is not referring to our day-to-day activities like sipping coffee and then drinking, sleeping, etc. He is referring to certain ethical actions which will have an interface with people. Ethical actions which are going to help or harm the people in the society, and then such actions which are going to give you the punyam or papam. So Krishna is referring to those activities. And what Krishna says is, karmanyeva adhikaraste, you have a right, you have an authority, you have a responsibility. All these words are there in that word adhikara. Adhikara is a very comprehensive word in Sanskrit. Adhikara means duty and also responsibility. You have got a choice, you have got the free will rather. You can also use that word will. You have got the freedom rather. You have got the freedom to choose your work, but not the freedom to choose your result. You may anyway, you can avoid that result by performing action in a totally different way. That of course he is going to say. That is what is called karma yoga. Now you can come to that slide, I will explain. That slide is regarding desire-free action. So desire-free action, on the face of it may look rather peculiar. As I said, I am going to do work. How is it that I should not get the fruit of it? Krishna is not meaning so. Krishna says, jolly well, you please take your paycheck. I am not bothered about it. I am talking about a totally different type of action. So here, what he says is, so if we go through the points which are there in that slide. So the points which I just said, karma will continue to give result in the form of rebirth. Then then of course one more point we can add here, that is refraining from action or abstaining from action or avoiding action is also an action. That is the sin of omission. Then this is a cycle of birth and death. A cycle of birth, action and death, rebirth, so that is the wheel. Then what Vedanta says is, getting free from this cycle is what is called liberation. So if so, the result has to be avoided. And what is it? So this is possible by not desiring the result of action. So this is the important line. This is the most important line in this slide. This is possible by not desiring the result of action. Again, we have to keep in mind that we are not talking about going to office and receiving the paycheck. We are talking about the ethical actions which are going to give you a lot of positive merit, which is called punyam. So you are performing an yajna. You are performing not with an intention to get punya, but as a matter of duty. You see, as a member of society, as a member, say as a grihastha or a brahmachari, you know that we have got 4 stages in human life. One is a brahmachari, then is a grihastha, then is a vanaprastha, then there is a sannyasi. For brahmachari, apart from routine, meditations and things like that, there are no, activities like dhanam, yajna, dana, etc. for a brahmachari. Yajna, the eligibility for yajna comes the moment a person gets married. So a grihastha, he has to perform yajna. That is, he has to do all those nitya karmas very meticulously. So that means he is the mainstay, he is the main support. In olden days, grihastha, a householder, was the main support for all the students, brahmacharis, and also for the monks, sannyasis. So the grihastha was the support, was the pillar of support for both the brahmacharis and also for the sannyasis. So he has to perform these activities like dhanam, that is a donation, giving gift, giving food to guests, giving food to brahmacharis, giving food to these monks. So all these duties which were there on the grihastha. So you can't avoid that also. And while doing such things, you do it in such a way that it is with an intention or with a frame of mind that it is your duty. I am part of this cosmic scheme. This cosmic scheme, you call it God. In fact, what actually is God? There is a cosmic intelligence, there is a cosmic scheme. There is in accordance to that we are supposed to do our action. So I am performing my action in accordance to that cosmic scheme, and whatever I am doing is my contribution to the society. So with that frame of mind, and when I say I am doing in accordance with the cosmic scheme, I can also say this is the will of God. I am doing it as an order from the Lord. I am doing it as the will of the Lord, as an instrument of the Lord. All these things, all these words, they come under this karma yoga. When you perform an action with this idea in mind, this is called karma yoga. Karma becomes karma yoga. Otherwise, karma, so long as it is giving you punyam, papam, etc., it is not karma yoga. The moment you disconnect yourself from the fruit, the moment you say, I do not want the fruit of that karma, I am doing it as a duty, I am doing it as a duty to society, I am doing it as an order from the Lord, I am doing it as an instrument of the Lord. When you are doing it, it becomes karma yoga. So karma is no longer karma, it becomes a karma yoga. It is otherwise called nishkama karma. There is again a longer word called nishkama. Nishkama means desire free. Nis plus kama. Kama means desire. Nis means no. Niskama means that desire has gone away. So that sort of karma is called karma yoga. So in fact, this is the very first, not very first mantra, the very second mantra of Ishavasya Upanishad tells about this. The very first mantra, Ishavasya, talks about a jnani. The very second mantra talks about somebody, people like us, you and me, who are not monks, who are not sannyasis, who are not renunciants. But then we are still in grihastha life, that is family life, householders, we are all householders, and we are all supposed to do this dharma. The first shloka, the second shloka, the second mantra of that Upanishad says, Kurvanneveha karmani jijivishet shatagam samaha. That is what it says. You are supposed to do this karma, and then you are supposed to be in that frame. And na karma lipyate nare. When you are doing this karma yoga, that result of action will not taint you, will not affect you, will not lead you to another birth cycle of birth and death. So that is what it says. So nishkama karma is something which is there, discussed in several forms, in all the Upanishads. So that is the point which you have to see. So in this desire-free action, what are the points we have seen? That is, the number one is, it is done with a frame of mind that I am doing it as an order from the Lord. In Sanskrit we call it Ishwararpana Buddhi. Ishwara means the Lord of the cosmos or universe. Arpana means dedication. Whatever I do is a dedication to the cosmic scheme. It is a dedication to the society. So with that frame of mind, a person is supposed to do action. That is what is called Ishwararpana Buddhi. Then when you are performing action in such a way, then what is the result? Every action leaves some impression on the mind, isn't it? You do some noble activity, it leaves a good impression on your mind. You do a good deed, it leaves a good impression on the mind. So continuous performance of good deeds, what sort of impression it leaves on the mind? So it leads to purification of mind. Over a period of time, it leads to absolute purification of mind. That is, this nitya karma, compulsory the performance of these compulsory karmas, it is a sort of habit-making karma. So it is a habit-making karma. It becomes your habit, it becomes your nature, it becomes your character itself. Your very character gets purified. So that is what is nitya karma. So it means, in other words, in Sanskrit we call it sattva shuddhi. That is the purity of heart, purity of antahkarana. Then you are also neutralizing the effect of karma. So in this nishkama karma, we are saying you are neutralizing the effect of this karma. Then contribution of the individual to the samashti, contribution of the individual to the society. So these are all things which are achieved by this nishkama karma. But then of course there is a small snag. Nishkama karma, no doubt, you are now performing certain activities with a frame of mind. But what about the past karmas? Karma is a big baggage through so many lives and all that. So if that entire baggage has to go, then you have to go to the next step. That is Vedanta study. That is realization of self-knowledge. So nishkama karma is a step. Nishkama karma is not the ultimate. Nishkama karma is the step towards a higher goal. So this karma yoga, from karma you come to the status of karma yoga. From karma yoga you go to the status of realization. So karma itself, good karma itself is better than bad karma. So let us come from the scratch. If you come from the scratch, at the animal level, your base desires are there, all our basic instincts, and then say you don't mind grabbing from somebody, you don't mind causing harm to somebody and snatching from him. So that is something which is a prohibited act. From that stage, a man comes to a disciplined action. From indisciplined action, a person comes to disciplined action with desire. Then he grows to the level of disciplined action without desire. And then, even here there is a small problem, that is, he cannot totally eradicate the previous karmas. So in order to eradicate all that, he goes to the next level of study of Vedanta, that is self-realization. And it is only with self-realization that a person can get rid of the cycle of birth and death. But this nishkama karma is a very, very important stage, an integral part of the whole ladder. So this spiritual progress is like a ladder. And this Vedanta study is not a simple study, it's not an intellectual study. The basic thing we have to realize in, whether it is Hinduism or Buddhism or in all Oriental religions, is that it is a process of self-purification. It is not a question of reading something about what God has said, you have to obey this, you have to obey that. Okay, I am obeying God and I am going to do something. It's not like that. It is a question of disciplining yourself. It is a question of, in fact, in Vedanta, it is a question of totally negating your personal identity. The self-realization, at the stage of self-realization, what happens to that person? He totally loses his personality. He totally loses his personality in the personality of Brahman. He merges his personality in the personality of Brahman. So that is what happens. So anyway, so when we are talking about this nishkama karma, these are the points we have to keep in mind. So then let us go to the next slide. So nitya karma, about this nitya karma, about this nishkama karma, what did we learn? This nishkama karma is something which is a sort of habit forming action. It creates some samskaras, it purifies your character, it strengthens your character, then it shapes, and it also shows that a person can deliberately shape his nature by cultivating noble thoughts and noble deeds. Then let us come to the next slide called determinism and free will. So determinism and free will are not words used in Vedanta. These are words used in Western philosophy. But I am borrowing these concepts basically to explain, or rather to see how these ideas fit into our framework. So we have seen karma, we have seen nishkama karma, and we have also seen how a person can avoid the result of karma. So here in this context, let us see the points here. The doctrine of karma does not mean fatalism. This is an important point which we have to understand, because very many people who do not understand Hinduism, many of our own Hindus who do not read our own Gita. So if you read Gita, all your doubts will be clarified. If we do not read Gita, you cannot answer your son also, you cannot answer your child. So the basic problem is that we have to jolly well read Gita in order to know our Siddhanta, that is doctrine. Because Gita is not like other religious texts. You keep all the religious texts together and then give a thorough reading. Gita stands totally different, totally apart, because it tells about what is a human being. It tells about what is the nature of supreme reality, how this is connected, and it also tells how a person has to reach that stage. It tells how a jiva has to become Brahma. The ultimate goal is that jiva has to realize that he is not different from the supreme God. He is not somebody who is condemned. He is not somebody who is a sinner. He is somebody who is the same, very same nature as Brahman. It is unfortunate that he has not realized it. You are supposed to realize it. So that is what Gita says. So we are supposed to read Gita. So if we have to know that this idea of karma is not fatalism. Fatalism means you have done something and you are destined to reap the fruit. This is your destiny. It means you are condemned. You are condemned to bear it throughout your life. It is not like that. So what it says is, the idea, a person's birth is something which is determined by, previous karma. No doubt, if you have done some good karma, you are born here in a good birth. So that is why the idea of karma was also accepted. In the last class, I was mentioning about the diversity in human nature, or rather the diversity in creation. How are we explaining the diversity in creation? We are explaining the diversity by saying that it is due to the previous karma or previous action. So that is why in this life, though the very life itself is caused by a previous karma, that means it is to some extent determined. It is to some extent determined by the previous karma. You are now free to choose your own action. So this is something, a sort of a combination of this free will and determination. It is neither 100% free will nor 100% determinism. This determinism is there to some extent, but then a maximum extent is free will. This determinism is only up to the point of giving you the life. Then thereafter, the freedom is there for choosing your own action. So that is what karmanyeva, the line from Gita, that line, famous line, karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So that line has to be understood in that way. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. To you have got a right for action. You have got a freedom for action. You have got a free will. In other words, if you want to use these words, you have got a free will to choose your action. You have got a free will to choose change your future, modify your future. But then, say ma phaleshu kadachana, the result is something which is you don't have freedom of that so long as you are doing kamya karma. If you are doing nishkama karma, you may avoid it. If you are doing karma yoga, you may avoid that fruit. But if you are not doing karma yoga, you have to jolly well get the fruit of it. So that is what that word means. So what we have to ultimately realize is, we have got the Hindu doctrine ultimately combines this determinism and free will. So these are the things which we have to know about the idea of karma, the idea of rebirth, the idea of how to escape or avoid the fruit of that karma, and then what is the difference between ordinary karma and karma yoga. Karma becomes karma yoga when your frame of mind changes. When your frame of mind is only for personal gain, that is karma. When your frame of mind is that you are doing it as an order from the Lord, then it becomes karma yoga. You are doing it for the sake of society, that becomes karma yoga or nishkama karma. Then at that time you are totally avoiding the fruit of that action. So that is what is the point which we have to see. We have to very clearly understand about karma yoga. So we'll stop here. Thank you.